And welcome back to Coffee with the Wolves. I am Damian Dennis, joined once again by women's head coach Shaun Sanderson. Shaun, how you doing today?
Doing good on this warm day.
It's been yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since we had you last on. You were on the first episode. This is the third one. Uh, it's been kind of a slow stretch for you since you were last on. I think from that last game
Mhm.
or from the last appearance, you've only played two games.
Yeah.
Are, so I want to start there. Is there any kind of worry about only playing twice over a 2 week span?
Um, a little bit of a concern because this time of year you want to kind of consistently be in the gym, especially with it being winter time. But um, we just had our first practice after being off a week. Um, but you just approach practice different. Try to make sure to get up to par in terms of conditioning. So I thought yesterday, for it to be our first practice, we looked pretty good. I thought.
Is there what's some of that? What's kind of the different approach you take when you've had such a long break?
When it gets to this time of the year, you're getting closer to playoffs, so it's more about the mental. So we focus in on that. We're focusing on technique in terms of fundamental skill work. Um, so that part of it never changed. Those that have like some bangs and bruises, it's an opportunity for them to get healed, rest, and that of course helps with the mental as well. So me personally, I kind of enjoyed the break a little bit because we jumped into that tournament in Peoria, not knowing that was going to be, a part of our schedule. So um, I think at the end of the day, it is a blessing in disguise because we were able to cancel a game and move it further along in our schedule, considering we would have had 2 weeks off before the playoffs start. So now we have a game in between. So I think in the long run, it's going to benefit us.
Cool. And now we'll get into this a little bit later, but you're heading into a tough stretch, a lot of games back to back. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about those two games you've played in the last 2 weeks. Moraine Valley, a win 75-69, Malcolm X 76-63,
Yeah,
continuing your winning streaks, 4 game win streak now, dating back to the end of that tournament in Peoria. Just kind of what's it like, kind of with this winning streak continuing and then getting these wins?
Yeah, the first time we played Moraine Valley, I thought it was a bad loss, but I think it was a good loss because it allowed us to identify some things that we had going wrong with our team. But I can see the growth and maturity from that game. Um, you know, I, we're progressing. We're getting better skill wise. We're handling different situations on the court better. Uh, those are two tough teams that we played, and I was really proud of the young ladies after the Malcolm X game. I thought our interior defense was pretty good. We didn't foul a whole lot, but we were competitive. Even in those moments when we couldn't score, we kept our composure and we were able to um, knock down some key shots, and more importantly, just kind of keep our composure in those tough stretches. So those are two good quality wins where, as a coaching staff, we say, you know what, we're growing. Because 3 weeks ago we would have lost these games. So I thought they were pretty good for us.
Yeah. Now we're kind of getting this show into the format it's supposed to be with a coach and a student athlete. We have Grace Harris showing up here in a bit, but I want to talk a little bit about her performance over this stretch, and specifically, we're recording this the day after she was named the NJCAA D3 National Player of the Week. What's that kind of mean for both you as a coach and her growth as a player on this team?
It's an amazing honor for her, and not only for Grace, but for the entire program. Anytime you can get national attention at this level, um, it's like I said, it's a great honor for her. But the first thing that they see when her picture is posted, they'll see Joliet, and then they'll see Grace Harris. So we tell the young ladies, hey, this is a huge honor, not only for Grace, but it's an opportunity for you all to be exposed and recruited as well. So we've been blessed to have this honor usually once a year with Josie Ocampo last year. So it brings attention to the program. But she's very well deserving of it. I kind of expected this. I thought it would have been happened before this, but good things happen to those that wait, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think there's more in her, and she's clicking at the right time, with the things that she's doing on the court.
Can you talk a little bit about her leadership on the team? She's very much a driving force behind your success, but it's very much a team effort too. We can see that watching the games or looking at the box score. But she's very much a leader out there. So, what kind of impact does she have in that sense?
Yeah, she's a quiet leader, but makes a loud noise with her language on the court. So, and I think I made a statement last night to a coach. A lot of your most talented players can be bad attitude or not very well liked, but it's something different with Grace. Her teammates like her, I think. No, they love her. She's very unselfish with the basketball. She just wants to win. So if that means you scoring when she makes a pass, she'll be the first one to clap and point. So she makes the game fun. Fun to play with, fun to play against, and she's growing the game. And I was just talking to a parent today. She said, "Man, I'm really loving watching you guys play, and I'm Grace, my girl." Like, so it's very fun and gratifying to hear those statements coming from outsiders.
So you're moving into a very tough stretch of the schedule. You have a game this weekend on Saturday,
Mhm.
and then you're going multiple, like maybe 1, 2 days in between games for like a 2 week stretch. I think I looked at the schedule. There was maybe 1 5 day kind of break,
Mhm.
but it's a lot of back to back games. How do you prepare for that, especially with the unexpected time off you've had? You're kind of starting the new year slow, and then you're going into this meat grinder, so to speak.
Yeah, and this is the time of year where the mental approach is very huge. I mentioned to the young ladies in practice, it's like, hey, this is the time when you look at the schedule and then you prepare yourself mentally as well as physically. So those little aches and pains, um, they don't have time to heal right now, unfortunately. So, but we today we have a meeting to go through some breathing exercises and just different things to help just the inner person. But we designed the schedule so that when we get into February, March, when we have to play back to back to back, hopefully, then we're mentally prepared because we would have known what it feels like, both physically and mentally.
Now, when I talked to you a couple of weeks ago on about this exact thing, moving forward and kind of expectations as the season moves forward and this meat grinder of a schedule, you mentioned that part of that was also, and joining the tournament in Peoria as well, was trying to get the team ready for the postseason because you're not necessarily going to have a day off. You're going to have that back to back sort of a game day approach. Um, you know, how have you seen kind of like that approach in scheduling and the amount of games you've played kind of help the team prepare?
It this region is pretty tough. We're the lone Division III school, and that really doesn't mean anything to me. Our region, when it comes to playing the Division 2s and Division 1s, it's preparing us. And the trips that we took to Minnesota and Peoria, there again, it's preparing us. They're playing the teams that are going to be at the national tournament. So it allows us as a coaching staff to understand and know what we're facing, knowing that and praying that we would see them down the line. But it also allows our players to understand, hey, if I had just did this right or prepared mentally for this better, we could have won this game. Every game that we've been in, we've competed, had the opportunity to win. We just didn't capitalize because we were thinking about something that we should have been thinking about something else. So, looking at the schedule and knowing what's ahead, I think we're in a really good place right now. Yeah.
Okay. So, last question for you,
Sure.
Coach. What'd you do with the unexpected time off? Did you go out and play in the snow at all, or did you stay bundled up inside with hot chocolate?
No. I got a lot of rest, and the other part, the administrative part of work,
Yeah.
that comes into play, but also rescheduling that one game we had canceled. But I took advantage of watching film, and I was able to get out of the house to watch a couple high school games. So we have to continue to prepare for the future while we're in the moment with our team. So, but no, I advertised the program by getting out to a few of the high school games that was playing during this cold season.
Cool. Well, Coach, we'll have you back on in the future, of course, as the season progresses and we get through this meat grinder you've got
Oh yeah,
coming up. I'm
oh
going to
yeah.
keep saying it, phrasing it that way because, again, looking at the schedule, you've got a game, day off, game, 2 days off, game. It's going to be a rough stretch, but I'm sure you'll have your team prepared for it.
Yeah, and they usually play about 8 or 9 games in open gym, so this will be a piece of cake for them.
All right. Well, stay tuned because we're going to have Grace Harris up next. Now we're joined by Grace Harris with the women's basketball team. Grace,
Hello.
how this is your first time on this show? You're the first student athlete to appear. Uh, you ever been on a podcast or a
No,
talk
I
show? Or anything?
haven't. I haven't. I haven't even been interviewed that much, but I'm getting used to it. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I've had the play-by-play guys interviewing you after games. And
Yes, I'm trying to get better.
your coach has bugged you after the game to send stuff to me. So I want to start with really the honor you earned yesterday, the day before we were recording this. You won National Player of the Week. What's that honor mean for you?
It's great. I'm really grateful for it. Yeah, like my coach always talks about, a lot of people play sports for a while and have like nothing to show for it. So that's what I think about like when I get awards, and yeah, very thankful for it.
Cool. I guess looking at it from a program's perspective, what's it mean for the team as a whole? It's your honor, your award, but what's it mean kind of for the Wolves?
Yeah, kind of touching on what coach said, I think it's a good representation of like the program and my teammates and coaches, and then I'm also representing family and all that. So
Right.
it's more than just me. It's opportunities for everyone.
So I want to talk a little bit about the season so far up to this point. I did this with your coach 2 weeks ago, talked about the season in full. Since you're the first student athlete, we can talk a little bit about the season in full with you. It's been kind of an up and down year at this point. I think you're 9-9, so sitting at 500, but you've been in a lot of games. You've lost games against teams maybe, Division Two, Division One teams. But as your coach has said, that prepares you for the postseason when you're playing, those tougher opponents. But it's been a very up and down year. What's it been like kind of going through that adversity, going on like, let's say that 3-game winning streak you started the season with and then losing a number of games before bouncing back again?
I think it's just like a part of the process. I think when we go through like tough times, it's a good learning experience. I think we grow from it, and you could see that in the last couple of games where we've been playing better and being more consistent. So
Yeah, you're on a 4-game winning streak now. Uh, that tournament in Peoria, we keep going back to it because you lost the first 2 games, but then you won the last one, and then since then, you've won every game you've played since. Uh, you know, the the streak a little bit. It's only a 4-game winning streak, mostly because the weather has canceled games and
yeah.
whatnot, postponed games. Uh, what's it kind of what's kind of the mentality when you enter, let's say your game this weekend, knowing hey, I'm on a winning streak or we're on a winning streak, we need to keep this going. You like how do you kind of fight the urge to maybe not relax too much entering a game?
Right. I think preparation, like knowing we're winning, but also taking the time to look at the other team and like come into practice on time and just go through what we need to go through. But yeah, I think it's also part of like the mental game, like um, and not having that confidence. So I don't know. Yeah.
Uh, like I would talk to your coach about tough stretch coming up. Lots of games, maybe 1-2 days off in between games. As a player, especially at the college level, how does that take a toll on your body, and how do you prepare kind of like to keep your health and motivation up when you're entering, so many games in, let's say, a week?
Yeah. Well, I love playing, so I'm looking forward to playing every other day. But as far as taking care of the body, I've started to do that more this year, like as I get older. Staying in the weight room and coming to practice, and then also taking advantage of our training room. I took a couple of ice baths this year, and I probably plan on doing that in between our games coming up. So, yeah. And then also getting heat and everything like that, eating good.
That's a good kind of question, just something random to ask here, but the facilities here at JJC are pretty spectacular. I know I'm relatively new here, so even I was kind of taken aback when I first came in and just saw this building that we're in right now, the
Yeah.
event center. What do you make of like just kind of the facilities and what JJC has to offer in terms of being a student athlete?
Yeah, I think it's incredible. Like a lot of people don't expect it coming here, and like they don't know what's out here. But when I came on my visit, um, it was cool to see that it was so like I don't know, kind of. I mean, it looks good here. Like they put a lot of time and money into building this facility, and a lot of people that come and visit, like from other teams, always talk about how nice it is. So I'm very grateful that we have a good weight room and court and field and place where I could like continue to practice and grow.
Now, we're going to wrap up here soon, but I want to ask, first student athlete I've had on the show, so I want to ask you a little bit about your teammates. Who's, I guess, maybe like, well, maybe your favorite like workout partner, the best, maybe one of your teammates who you like to shoot the ball around with. Just kind of like tell us a little bit about like your chemistry with the team, I guess is what I'm really getting at.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if I have a favorite. I don't want to pick
Yeah,
favorites.
wrong
But-
term, wrong term,
yeah.
but
But yeah, no, I love my teammates. I think I really respect, where they come from and the way their commitment to the game. Um, yeah, on the court, I don't care who I play with. Like, um, I just want to win and I want to have fun with them. So, uh, I know a couple of them have been having a good season. I think Kaya, um, is another player that has a lot of potential, and she's fun to play with, like knowing what she could do. Also having shooters such as like Maggie. Um, yeah, but yeah, I love everyone. So
Yeah. So, hey, Grace, I appreciate you coming on. Perhaps we'll have you back on in the future.
yeah,
Gonna have
potentially.
as the spring sports start picking up, it's going to be a busy, a rotating door of coaches and student athletes, which is what I'm excited for. But
Yes.
you get to be the first, so
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me.
yeah. So this has been Coffee with the Wolves. We'll be back next week.